question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you. Yeah.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Tuesday night. We are rolling on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter/X, on Facebook, and on Twitch. It is episode 154 of the Throwdown, and tonight we're going to have some fun. We are throwing down with a Florida-based fellow wrestling podcaster and content creator, Chris Page from CCP Podcasting. And this is just going to be two guys who have a long-term passion for the business, nerding out about what they love. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get to it. How you doing tonight, Chris?
It's a Tuesday night in Florida, brother. It's fantastic. How are things with you?
Man, if I were doing much better, there'd probably be 3 or 4 of me.
All right, well, then what's the downside there?
Exactly. So for those of you that are watching this live, if you have any questions or comments, just throw them in the chat and we'll either handle things as we go or do a little Q&A at the end. So, kind of like you did when I was on the show last week, we're going to start with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, how long have you been a wrestling fan?
Oh, I mean, my earliest memories were, this is gonna sound wild, with my great grandmother, and I don't remember the time. I know it was like had to have been 5 or maybe a little younger. I know that it involved Flair and Dusty, and the Horsemen. It had to have been mid to late 80s, I'd imagine. Like 87, 88, maybe 86, 87. And I could be totally wrong there, to be fair, but I just remember watching, and I remember her reactions more than I do of associating with professional wrestling, because she was screaming at the television. Like, and I don't know why I associate it with it, but she was screaming at the TV, and then I looked at the TV, and it's at that point in time I didn't know it was Flair beating up Dusty Rhodes, but it was. And then we just roll with it from there. I've always been a fan in some form or fashion of professional wrestling. I mean, there's been periods where I didn't watch because it just didn't appeal to me. But I still follow along, and I still would read results and shit like that. But going back to a kid, I was an NWA guy. I grew up in the South. Southern wrestling was kind of my jam. Even back into like the mid 90s, like when Smoky Mountain was running, Raw was on the air in 95. So was Smoky Mountain. Like, I would rather watch Smoky Mountain wrestling than watch Monday Night Raw. Hot take, maybe. But it just, I grew up in Alabama, and we watched a lot of Southern stuff. It wasn't until I got out that I was like, oh, there's this other stuff out here. Wait, what is all this?
Yeah.
But that's where it all began, and from there it never left. It just never did, all through high school. I was always watching Monday Night Wars. We were talking about it during school, and It just was what it was, and then I found myself in a ring and training at 17, and did it myself for several years, and moved on from it because you run into the good side of wrestling and the bad side of wrestling. I fell into a bad side of wrestling, and I got out, and it was probably the best decision I made at the time. But you go through shit, and it forms you into who you. Sorry, can we cuss here?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, you go through stuff, and it changes you, right? And that's where I drew the line, and didn't watch it or anything like that, but that's where it all began. And at the end of the day, though, the passion was still there, as we now know. Fast forward 20 years later, what am I doing? So
Yeah.
it's still there, deep roots, but it goes back to the NWA days.
Absolutely. So you mentioned that you have actually done some wrestling
Sure.
yourself. When and where was that, and who actually trained you?
Oh, so way back, you got to go back. I was trained by Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. There's a guy in
Okay.
Alabama.
Okay.
And then when I say I wrestled for a company, it was GCW. They're no longer around. They haven't been around in fucking ever. And the sad thing about it is, back in this is when YouTube was at its infancy, so there wasn't a whole lot going on content wise, and there's nothing there. Like, even to this day, like, there are guys on the channel, they're fans of the channel, they're followers of the channel. We call them our family members. Like, they want to see, there's footage, they want to see it, and I do too. So we're working on making things happen down the line, but I'm not gonna spill too much of that tea. But it wasn't it wasn't the best time for me.
Right.
I was a kid, and I
Mhm.
made some very bad decisions, and
Don't we all? Man.
and ultimately, like, I don't ever brag about my time in the ring. Like, I know what I did, and I was really good on the microphone. I was great
Yeah.
about talking people in to watch me get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that, and I was good with that. But that was not wasn't the like I said, it was a very down time for me for a majority of that run. Did I have success? Sure, on a small level, but nothing worth writing home to mom about. And nothing certainly worth to brag about at any point. It just it was there, and then it wasn't, and it was just one of those things that it not to sing a sad song by any means, but it shaped me into who I am today. And that's
Yeah.
about what was good for me, and that's about what I got out of it at that point in time. Fast forward,
Absolutely.
if I knew now, what I should have known then, who
Yeah.
knows? Who
Yeah.
truly does know? But it wasn't. I got in there with a couple of cool people. At the time, like Buff Bagwell was one of my guys for a hot minute, but that was it. Like, we were real local. We traveled. We did loops and stuff of that nature. But I again, when I think about it, like, I think about, I'm more ashamed of it than I am wanting to, like, oh, look, I did this, I did that, because I should have been smarter.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
Oh,
just one of those
oh,
things, like,
I
as a
do.
human, I just continue to beat myself up over it, because it was literally some of the dumbest decisions that I ever made in my life.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just like, was it fun? Sure, but at what cost?
Right. Right. So I'm looking over at the Instagram chat. We've got Jose Amore 413 in the chat room, and we've got White Chris Rock. I love
Okay.
that name. That's
Welcome to the show, guys. Glad you're here.
um, so away from wrestling, what are some of your other hobbies and interests? I mean, if you're anything like me, there isn't a lot of time for other stuff, but, do you have other hobbies and
Yeah,
interests?
man. There are some people out there that would call me the Sid Vicious of podcasting, in the sense of, I used to play a shitload of softball. That's That's where I diverted my time after getting out. I had to figure something else out, and I played softball for about 15 years, and did
Nice.
that. And when I I moved to Florida. What I didn't know then was that you could play fucking year round down here. I went, wait, what? I don't. Where I'm from, you could only play for like 4 months, and then your season was over. And I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
And there's only how much of a you get 3 weeks, and then you turn around, let's do that. Let's let's do that. So that's what I did, man. I played softball. I, focused on me and my career, in the process. Met kick-ass fucking husband who supports everything that I do at this point. Like the lines all kind of steered in a different direction. And I think the biggest piece outside of softball and the hubs, that's all I needed at the time. And then when I quit softball, I needed something to fill the void. And
And here you are.
well, it didn't start that way though. Like we
Mhm.
started doing something totally different. So like that you say nerding out. So I'm gonna nerd out a little deeper. And I don't usually talk about this at all. But e-fetting used to be a really big thing back in the day. It's
Mhm.
role playing and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I got together and had a couple of partners, and we were doing an e-fed podcast just specific for writing and role playing and building and story building, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That just wasn't, it was fun, but it wasn't scratching the itch that I was trying to have scratched, because actually all it did was make me want to get back into, wrestling and watching wrestling. And hadn't lost touch of what was going on, and I didn't follow the indies that deeply at the time. But they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, independent wrestling. Oh, you're crazy. Am I? Okay. Well, that was when the real dipping of the toe started. And keep in mind, I didn't know nothing. I barely knew how to edit shows or any of that nature. Like it
Yep.
was all baptism by fire. But it's
Yep.
what turned me turned me on into podcasting and figuring out different things to do that, you know, are fun. 'Cause who doesn't like watching good wrestling? Come on now.
Exactly. And, like I was saying before we went on the air, man, it has been so cool to meet you and really find kind of a kindred spirit in this because, like I mentioned on your show, when I got started doing this, I was doing something, different, but there's a lot of overlap in the fandom between music and wrestling. So
Mhm.
I was initially doing live stream chats with unsigned bands, and about 6 months into that, I decided to add wrestling, and very quickly the wrestling side of things really took over, and it
Yep.
it it, it kind of went from there. But yeah. So uh, and I kind of, I started doing my live streaming. My wife actually works for a tea company in India, and she actually does live streams on Amazon
Okay.
for this tea company. And I had been thinking about doing traditional podcasting, but I got to thinking, maybe live streaming would be kind of the way to go with all of this, and it all just kind of went from there. But so what you're doing, you're really taking things to a whole different level with all of this,
I
and
know. They
and
say I'm crazy.
coming up on November 22nd, you have a show that you are the promoter for called Genesis.
Right.
And, and I've got to say, when you started telling me about this, I immediately got excited. And man, I am so excited to have gotten on board with you on this early. And like I was saying on your show, this whole thing has the same kind of grassroots DIY vibe that the original All In back in 2018 kind of had, and we know what that ultimately led to. So, tell us about the concept of the show and what inspired you to kind of throw caution to the wind and decide that you were going to take things to that level.
That is a long answer. So I'm
Go
gonna
for
okay.
it.
I'm just throwing it out there because like in order to get here, you have to go back 25 months because that's how long we've been streaming.
Okay.
When we started, uh, it was myself, it was John Cable, and there was a guy named Todrick Ramsey. When we first started, we weren't live. We were pre-taped and just uploading straight to YouTube. Which, by the way, at CCP Podcasting, head over, hit that subscribe button. We're knocking on the door of 1,000, which is uncharted territory for independent wrestling podcasting related. Just saying. Uh,
Yeah.
we started just filming matches, not independent but just like old school wrestling matches, like one-offs here and one-offs there, off the air, and just uploading them. If they passed them, copyrights and all that jazz, then we'd air them. If they didn't, we'd delete them. And we ended up getting hit with a lot more copyrights than we were aired matches, so I felt like we were just kind of wasting time. So how do we counterbalance that? Well, then we went to live streaming. And then Toddy left. He had to go overseas and was gone for 14, 15 months. And in the process, we had John and I were kind of here and on the air. And what we found was when we would film the long legend show, the 2-hour formats, which essentially is we're just watching 2 hours of stuff we haven't seen from various legends, of professional wrestling, people that we liked.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Again, same concept. Some matches would pass, some wouldn't. Well, all right. Well, I need to figure this out because now I'm just getting frustrated because I feel like we're wasting our time because if we're just doing not able to get the content out there for people to see, then what are we doing? And that's when it was like, indie wrestling is exactly where we need to go here because the it's way broader. It's not as mainstream. And reality is, once I sat down and thought about it, it was like, this is where everybody's at. Everybody's on the indie scene. Everybody that we need to be watching, everybody that we could be exposed to. This is where we need to, this is where and I was like, then I started thinking about my past and I went, do I want to do this? Yeah, we're going to try it. And we did. So it was like trial and error. We had to build the foundation of the channel. And what I mean by that is that it involves several other people as well. It's like, UK Paul is over in the UK. It's Goth over in the Netherlands. It's Devlin in the UK. It's JB in Texas. John is in Jacksonville. Excuse me. Collaboration work with people in Australia and Portugal. Like there's a lot that goes into building the credibility of the channel itself, right? And I think that the trial and error that we had along the ways with formatting and shows and what works and what doesn't work and fine tuning it to independent watch alongs where we're Monday nights, that's our 7 o'clock. It's religious. It's every week we're watching a different indie, we're watching a full show, people that we haven't seen before. We're also revisiting people the companies that have impressed us along the way. And the companies are seeing that it's a different vibe. Like it's real. This is not a work. It's not fake. It's just very genuine and authentic. And when people, when you as a company and talent can get 3 random people who have never seen your stuff to invest for 15 to 20 minutes you've done your job.
Yep.
That's what I want to see. I want to see more of that. And we find it, and we find it regularly, and we find it frequently, and we honed it all into, our prime shows, which are our full watches on Monday nights. Beyond the Bells are scheduled kind of throughout the weeks, which are our interview format. We had you on last week, had a blast. Uh, our spotlight shows are independent talent spotlights, really, like where we just look at one piece of talent or tag team. 2 hours of your stuff, never seen before, watching it for the
Yep.
first time. And then, we do our company dives. That's Saturday mornings, 8 o'clock. Saturday morning, I always say we're bringing wrestling back to Saturday mornings, baby.
Oh
We
yeah.
find a different company from all over the world. We find 2 hours of
Good
their stuff.
times.
Yes, sir. And we have our UK show, our Brit Rest Spotlight, which is does really well for us. We do that at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoons, Eastern time. Wrestling Request Live is our fan base show. It's every Sunday at 3 p.m. Like we have done so much to build to this moment, because it's not something that just said that I just woke up and said, "Hey, I want to put on a wrestling show," or "Hey, I'm gonna do a wrestling show." It's not how it came about. I was at a local show. Not gonna say where. It was in Florida. Uh, and I was watching how this was being presented. Um, and because and I was watching deeper because I'm counting heads. And I know how much I paid to walk in the front door. And I know off of the count and what I paid at the front door, I had brought a family with me. I had a guy that in the real world, we hired a guy who relocated to Florida. His family was with him. He didn't have anything to do. I said, "You want to come with me and check out the show?" I don't know anything about the company. I don't know anything about it, but if you want to roll out, man, you can ride with us. Let's go. And they did. So it cost him almost $100 to walk through the door of the show. And when the
Mhm.
show was over, I asked him 2 questions, because by this point, I'm looking at several different aspects. I'm looking at people in the crowd. I'm looking at how many are here. I'm looking at, what did I pay to come in? What did he pay as a family to come in? And I'm looking at a lot of different avenues here. And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey man, did you feel like you got your money's worth?" And without hesitation, he looked at me and he said, "Have you seen my wife? She hasn't left her seat in 2 hours." Yes, we got our money's worth. And when I heard that, I looked, we can do this. We can do this. So what does it look like? I started reaching out to talent. Guys in Florida, because we're based in Florida, right now.
Mhm.
Um, Guys in Florida that I think, and I've seen, and again, money can only go so far. If I could put 30 people on the show, I would. But if under the impression that I'm doing this again, because I'm fairly certain we're doing this again. I know we're doing this again in Southern California. Spoiler alert. But we're under I'm doing this with the conditions of, like, that this can happen again, that we're gonna run again in Orlando, and I can use a lot of these guys again. But I wanna put
Right.
people and showcase people that I feel has something special, just off of watching them, off of experiencing them live, or reputation alone. And in one instance, just because I wanna see them live. And it's the truth, because I think he's a tremendous piece of talent. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
But it took a village to make this happen. Um, I just happened to be the guy that said, "Hey, let's look at it. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Or let's enhance this. Or what can we do here? Or how can we do this?" And they're tremendous fucking sounding boards. I've been able to bounce ideas off of them, and all of them, JB, Devlin, John, Goth, Paul, and all of them have been very receptive. If they've sucked, they've told me why. And they've also presented other avenues of to get to this point. Like, it is truly a team fucking effort. You know, there has been one guy who's the fall guy, and that's what I call myself. I'm the fall guy. If it goes south,
Yeah.
it's on me. It's my fault.
Yep,
But
you're the guy left holding the bag.
yeah, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I want to showcase talent that I truly feel like you guys should be watching. And just because I don't have, you know, I can't put 30, 40 people on a show, doesn't mean that I can't put them on the next one. And that's kind of what the basis of what CCP podcasting presents, chapter whatever 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be about the areas that have really welcomed us and with open arms. I mean, I don't think that I'm breaking a whole lot of news at this point, but yeah, we are going to Southern California to do a show in conjunction with Millennium Pro Wrestling and Primal Pro Wrestling. We're going to do that. You
Nice.
know, and that's just based off of what we've accomplished here already. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great night of professional wrestling with talent that I know are going to entertain you. And that's the name of the game. You know, I always say, like, I don't ever care about how many tickets I sell or how many tickets we will sell, because the shows are paid for before Joe Schmo enters the front door. Like,
Right.
that's just the way that it is. It's paid for. Um, this show, it took a minute to square it out. You know, I thankfully had been saving money at this point and had most of it. And I was like, well, shit, well, I got this now, and you know, here we go. And then I
Yep.
started reaching out to the talent. I started
Yep.
and you know, some of these questions are not the easiest questions to have to ask people, right? Like, I'm a podcaster. You know, what the fuck are you doing asking me my rate? You know, shit like that. But you got to
Right.
lay it out. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm trying to do. And here's the concept for the show. This is the idea is to showcase everybody. I'd
Yep.
like you to be a part of it. I need to make sure that I, you know, budgeting wise, I need to make sure that these numbers jive.
Right.
Um, had those conversations. You know, I had some guys on the show that wanted to work for free, and I, you know, told them absolutely not. Like, you know, that's not the points to try and give back and to try and give to say thank you.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these guys have come on our show, have done some
Yep.
collaborations with us in the past. Yeah, let us say thank you to you, because y'all are the ones out here entertaining us. And
Exactly.
ultimately that's what it all boils down to. Once we reached the talent and I lined up the talent, and kind of narrowed this thing down, it was, where are we going to do it? I had several
Yep.
places to look at. I looked at several places before I made a decision. You know, what's financially conducive? You know, where am I able to sell like concessions here? What am I not a what am I able to do? How much money is this going to cost? Excuse me. And I found a really good place. It's going to be at the Empire Wrestling Academy, which is you know, it's where the establishment films a little bit of their television in Florida. And you know, it's shaping up to be a really good fucking night at the end of the day. I really think that we've got an all-star card put together of some of the best in Central Florida and outside of Florida.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be great. You know, the tickets are. I mean, I say it's going to be great because you know, for me, it's going to be great because I'm going to be able to see so many talented guys in one place at one time, whether there's 10 people in the building or whether there's 200. It doesn't matter. I know that
Yep.
I'm going to be in for a great night of professional wrestling. And you know, you are definitely a part of it. you're the first person to sponsor a talent on the show, which
Well,
is
it was my honor to be asked, and and I'm glad to have had the opportunity to kind of get in on the ground floor of this.
well, the idea was to, and again, I've never done this before. I'm baptism by fire, learning as I go. And as I'm putting this thing together, like, this is, to me, it makes sense, right? So it's not an expensive thing by any means. And it does a lot. I want to partner up with a lot of podcasters that are passionate about what they do, that have a love for independent wrestling or professional wrestling in general. I mean, I would partner up with just about anybody that wants to support what's going on,
Right.
and the movement that we're trying to make, in the work that we're doing. This is not a fly by night. It's not a, here today, gone tomorrow. It's not happening. We're
Yeah.
committed to doing, about every 3 months at this point, to doing a show, and it will happen, and then from there we'll increase as need be. But you're the first, and it was greatly appreciative, and I want other people to jump on board and try this thing, because you never know what can happen, where it can happen, and how it can happen. It's just one of those intangibles. It's the love of professional wrestling, and
Absolutely.
that's what we do. That's what our
Yep.
channel is. That's what that's what our dedication is, whether it is a live event or not. Like, we don't profit anything on our channel. Anything that we make on Twitch, it goes right back into the scene, whether it's match
Yep.
sponsorships with other companies, talents, or sending money to GoFundMe's for talents that have been hurt. Whatever
Yep.
the need is at that time is what we'll facilitate. If it goes into the live events, well, that's literally going right back out the door, because it's going to the live event. and
Absolutely.
and I'm telling you, this is gonna be something special, man. I
No
feel it.
doubt.
I feel it in my bones. I truly do.
Yep.
And I think that with this first show, we've got the right talent, we got the right crew, we got the everything is falling in the right places, all the way down to the graphics. I do want to shout out our boy Wilson Dyer. You've had him on the show before.
Oh yeah.
He did the graphics for this thing. Like, and keep in mind, I'm not I'm terrible with giving direction artistically to anybody. So when he's like, "What do you want?" Fuck, I don't know. Let's let's shop this out. And he collaborated with Toddy on that, and they put that together. And 1000% give him 100% credit, 1000% credit on that. He did a great job. So it's a big collaboration. Truly, the
Yep.
whole event is, even down
Absolutely.
to the talent
Yep.
itself. I
Well,
guess. What do you want to talk about?
well, what I was going to say, before we continue on, there's a couple of comments over in the Instagram chat I wanted to bring up. Brianna Franklin, she is an amazing young lady. She was actually on the show not terribly long ago. We did kind of a super fan spotlight. She is a fan in the Orlando area that actually has plans to start hopefully training at House of Champions coming
Oh,
up.
fantastic!
But she basically she commented, "Extremely hard work pays off. Love hearing your story on how you got started. Very inspiring." And then Rachie Does Things says,
Rachie.
"Yeah, wanted to pop in and say hello. Can't stay because I have class, but I love you both." So
Oh,
both of those young ladies are just terrific people.
Yeah, fantastic. I will tell anybody, and I will scream it from the rooftops. If you're in fucking Florida, or you're in anywhere and you're looking to come to Florida and you want to either enhance your game or get into the game of professional wrestling, House of Champions is where you need to go. I
Yep.
will I will 1000% sing their praises from the rooftops to anybody who will listen, because I have seen it firsthand. I have been in the building. I see how much they care about their kids, their
Yep.
product, and everything that goes along with what they are doing. This is a company that you need to be watching and you need to be looking at.
Yep.
1000%. If you're looking, you need to give them a shot. You need to give them a call, because you're not going to be disappointed. It is such a breath of fresh air to see what's going on at that school, and just how much they care about the outcomes of their students. It is fantastic.
Absolutely. So, you've got a few little things that you were wanting to kind of reveal to the world about Genesis.
Yeah, yeah, we can talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that. Let's talk about, before we get there, I want to talk about the talent that we've got attached to this, man. Like, I do want to
Okay.
give everybody a little bit of love, because this is not, it's definitely not a one man show. This is, it takes the talent to get in the ring to put the show on. It takes a lot. And when I thought about this show, there were several people that came to mind on who I definitely wanted to reach out to, because there was a connection. And the first person I do want to talk about is Alex Bryant. He's up in the Carolinas. Has done a lot of traveling here lately, and prior to, I think he's a tremendous piece of talent. And when we sat down with him, and had a conversation on Beyond the Bell, there was an immediate, like, kindred spirit connection. And, he was one that I definitely reached out to and was like, What if?" And he got back to me and said, "I would totally do this. I'd be down." And when I got him locked in, the next phone call I made, because I wanted to ensure that, again, budgeting wise, I got to make sure that I can pay these guys. Was Skrilla the Great, out of your neck of the woods, up in Georgia.
Yep.
I He was real instrumental early on in our platform, interview wise. Like, I think he was within the first five, and he gave us so many leads and so many people in Georgia that to this day we still have good relationships with. And I personally think he slept on. So I hit him up. He was available, and okay, I want you a part of this. 1000% was on board. And then I already knew, like, for here in Florida, like, I have we just I just plugged the House of Champions. Like, those guys are working super hard, and I know that, there's other people that are out there, and there's probably gonna be watching this, and I do not mean this in any disrespect whatsoever, but these guys to me, are working so hard. I already knew where I wanted to go and who I wanted to talk to, and on this first show specifically. And Mo Malik and Destin were two that, off of talking to Destin and Mo both, I know that Destin really enjoys the tag aspect with Mo, and I wanted to pair them up, so I did. They wanted to do it, fantastic. You get Lamaria, excuse me, I just mispronounced it. Lamerica, excuse me. TJ and Damien are coming in. They're WWN talents. Uh, we've got a guy that impressed me at the show that made me want to do this. Rafael Delgado. He's a Mero Pro, and I forget the other Fed off the top of my head. Amp. He's carrying belts in both those companies in Florida, so he's coming in. Kaisas out of Texas is making a trip. Like, there's a lot, man. There's so many people on the show. Casey Vi, yeah, Vi to
Yep.
Achieve is on the
Yes.
show. Kid Cuda, Big Boy Patty, Baracco, GMJ. It's loaded. It's a fucking loaded lineup. And then you get to the guy that you decided to sponsor, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I still question that. You get Matthew Enos. So, you know, you tell your audience why you wanted to sponsor that fool.
Well, I dug the whole Flex Simmons thing.
Flex Simmons is such a joke. It's such a joke. How's it going, Flex?
Yeah.
Well, you want to talk about generic names, buddy? There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. But, I mean, I've always gravitated toward the heels. And, you
Well,
know,
I do too, but I gravitate towards good heels. I that's what I'm getting at. Like I gravitate towards like talented heels, not candy asses who this guy. I can't believe it, but yeah, you sponsored Matthew Enos.
yes,
Enos
I did. I did.
penis.
Sponsored,
And he has
yeah.
not let anybody he's not let anybody live that down or let anybody forget whatsoever. Like, I mean, this is a badge of honor for him. I think that's hilarious.
He has become insufferable.
Yeah,
Well,
but
he was insufferable even beforehand, but
yeah,
but
yeah,
he's taken insufferable to a whole new level.
he is, and reality is this, and um, you know, he's gonna reap what he sows. Is what it's gonna boil down to.
Yeah,
I am not I am not looking to get into the ring, nor will I. There's no reason for that. I'm
no,
looking to have a good time, and I'm looking to put on a good show with great pieces of talent and Matthew Ennis.
yeah,
And I did tell you on Thursday night, like
yeah. You've got a little something for him.
I do, and I thought about this. I really did because how often can you say that you got someone like Matthew right here in the palm of your hand? How
And
many times can you say that?
you can just pop him like a zit.
Yeah, you got I had this is, he's given me a lot of crap. He's given me a lot of nonsense. I've had a lot of fun at his expense, but I don't think that this is going to be any laughing matter at all. I did tell you that I didn't go out and find a man. I went out and I found a warrior. And
Yeah,
I did do just that, and I can confirm. We made this happen. It's going down November the 22nd. When I said I found a warrior, not just any warrior, found a Hawaiian warrior, and I'm talking about Keikoa is going to be taking on Matthew Ennis live November 22nd. It is going down in Castleberry, Florida, right outside of Atlanta, or excuse me, Orlando. I told him that he needed to be careful because he's called down the thunder. And I'm really, really looking forward to seeing just how much is left of Matthew after the Hawaiian Warrior comes in and just destroys him. This is going to be your main event. This is what's going down. It is going to be a thing. Keikoa and Matthew Ennis one-on-one. I'm here for it.
As am I. I'm, when you told me what was going down the other day, I have had that percolating in my head ever since, and I was just like, uh, you know, will the guy that I sponsored even survive the evening? Who knows?
I here's the deal with Mr. Ennis and with Keikoa. I'm aware that they know each other well.
Yeah,
This is
a lot of history.
there's definitely history here. I'm not sure if they've ever met in the ring before, but when I thought about opponents for Matthew, there were a handful that came to mind. I reached out to Big Trouble Ben Bishop. I reached out to a couple of other cats that I'm familiar with. And then but it really became crystal clear. Like, who else can take out Flex Simmons
Yep,
than the
the Hawaiian
dude?
Warrior.
You're 1000% correct. So I am definitely looking forward to it. I hope that Mr. Ennis is looking forward to it. And I know that Keikoa is probably looking forward to it.
No
So,
doubt.
Keikoa is doing a lot of training at the HOC. He sees what Matthew's doing in the ring. Like, no, this is neutral ground. There's no HOC here. This is let's throw down and let's see who has what.
Gotcha. So moving on, you know, back to the subject of your fandom.
Hmm.
Do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan?
Oh God. Oh, I do. I do. I do. For me,
Mhm.
and this might be a hot take. I go to Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania in Orlando. I think that it has one of the most iconic moments of my time. And I think that it's something that for
The Old
me,
Yeller moment?
correct.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that I don't care how many times I watch that match, I always get goosebumps and I always tear up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I say, even thinking about it, like just the moments that are made in that. I think that growing up a Ric Flair fan, that's the
Yeah.
match that I'll remember as his last match. Even though I know
Yeah.
he went on and did some stuff in TNA, and he definitely came back and did that whatever it was. Jesus, help him, Lord, help him. But that's what I'll always look at as Flair's last match. Is it was as vintage Ric Flair as you could get at that time, at his age, at that point in time in his career. It was perfect.
Yep.
It was perfect. You can't find anything better than that.
And piggybacking on that, do you have an all-time favorite promo?
Mm. Not that sticks out off the top of my head, but, like, when I think about promos and I think about who do I associate when I think promo, I think Jake the Snake Roberts. I always go to Roberts as one of the best promo guys.
Yep.
About anything that he did to me was gold. Um, I think that mm, I was gonna say JJ Dillon, but I don't think that Dillon was he wasn't really carrying the promo. Obviously, Flair's a great promo. Uh, Terry Funk was a good promo. Obviously, Mick Foley was a great promo. So I don't have one that sticks out. But like, if I had to pick one, like from those cats, like I go to the Three Faces of Foley that was done on Raw, where he was, Mick Foley, Dude Love, and it was the debut of Cactus Jack from Madison Square Garden or some form. I think that's where it was at. That one strikes out. That was really, really good. Or the infamous Rick Rude appears on Raw and Nitro on the same night. With a shaved face on Nitro.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on Jake Roberts. You know, the thing I always say, and I've said this on numerous occasions, the thing I love about Jake is he would rarely raise his voice. He would just quietly tell you what he was going to do to you. And they say, you know, fear the quiet ones. And to me, that projects a lot more menace than a guy who is ranting and raving with the veins popping out of his head and foaming at the mouth. You know, somebody just quietly, calmly, but firmly telling you what's about to happen.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
It's brilliant.
It is.
That's what it is. It's brilliant.
And you know, somebody that took a lot out of the Jake Roberts book of promos was Raven.
Yes.
Same kind of
1,000%.
thing. Yeah.
I think there's several that have followed that playbook. And to be fair, like that's how I cut. I shadowed my promos as under with Flair and Jake Roberts as the inspirations behind them. So I thought they were great. I thought that the psychology wise, they're fantastic. I do see that over in, I think it's your YouTube chat, No Game Unturned is trying to trigger me.
Let's see what we got here.
He's trying to trigger me. I see what he's doing. I see you.
Oh, yeah.
I see you. Oh.
He likes Paul Roma joining the Horsemen. Oh my goodness.
So there is, and it's funny, No Game, if you're there, you'll know this shirt. It is the Row Effin' Ma shirt. I don't know if it's meant for Paul Roma, but I say that it is. And there's a long running gag on our channel. So obviously, the beautiful thing about working with so many people who are so creative and have such a passion for independent wrestling and wrestling in general is pulling ribs on each other when you're on the air and making things fun and just trying to pop each other without your audience knowing. And then the only time your audience will know is when you say, "Oh, got him," or "Ooh, he just cracked," something like that. Paul Roma's a gag on our channel, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. And when I had Richard Holiday on the show, like we talked about Mr. Roma for just a few minutes, and I had to tell him, I was like, I give him a lot of shit because I do a lot.
Yeah.
I give Paul Roma a lot of shit. But it's part of the course because it's what everybody expects, is what the audience expects. It's the gag of it all that started with John Cable. He said something about Paul Roma on a stream, and I just I don't even know why. I just lost my shit. And 1,000% was just anti-Roma for the rest of the entire show. And he was only on it for like 20 minutes. But it was 20 minutes too long, according to me at the time. And it turned into this whole thing. And I will never, JB, never acknowledge Paul Roma as a member of the Four Horsemen. It's not happening. It's not. And then Country Funshine, I see your message too as well. And I think Matt just threw it up on the screen there.
I did.
It is again, I will say it until I'm purple in the face. If
Yep.
you're thinking about it, do it. There's so many
Absolutely.
talented people that are coming out of the HOC and that will be coming out of the HOC that we haven't even seen yet. And
Yep.
what's okay, so what's great about the HOC for us, for me, is when we came in, right? It's a student show. That's how it's framed, right? So we knew and we can deduce coming in that okay, it's not going to be the cleanest stuff. And it's not. Like there are some
Right.
stuff that can be worked on, but that's not the fucking point. The point is what does the future look like? How are how good are these kids at such an early start or what have you? Brother, they drew us in. The
Yep.
students drew us in. This is before we even knew who was running the facility. Renee, Jamie, Keikoa, Bobby Fish, Bowen now is a new teacher there. Yeah, I believe so. I think that's an official thing. They're changing the landscape. So
Yep.
if you're thinking about it, go because the proof is in the pudding. I have talked to so many pieces of talent that train there or have been trained there. Not a single one of them has a bad thing to say about it. And I'm talking about students that are there right now, and I'm talking about students that have been there and that left or what have you. Like even in parting ways, there's still
Yep.
nothing but great things that are said. That
And
should tell
when
you
you've
something.
got that many people saying good things with very little variation, you know they're doing something right.
They are 100%, and I mean it. I
Yep.
I watched student shows all over. When I was in LA for Millennium Pro's anniversary show a couple of weeks ago, they had a student show the following Saturday. I went there for that too.
Yep.
So I got to see a handful of their students that some of them, actually I think all of them was their first match. So I got to share that moment or they shared that moment with me because I was there for it, right? Like it's so engulfing. It really is. It can totally just take you to a whole different level when your passion is there for it. And if your passion
Absolutely.
is here, yeah, you need to make that move. Make that happen. You
Yep.
will not be disappointed.
Yep. So we're starting to get toward the end of things, but I do have a couple of just news items I want to bring up and get your thoughts on, Chris.
Sure.
What is your take on WrestleMania 43 being announced for Saudi Arabia?
My take is hmm,
Money grab.
I I'm not a fan,
I'm
but
not either.
I don't make those decisions, right? Like if I'm gonna go international on a WrestleMania, I would have probably done the UK
Yeah,
on a first run. I think they deserve it. I think they've earned it.
yeah,
Um, but I also, I mean, like you can't look at it any other way than, you know, it's a pretty big check that's being cut for that.
yeah. The other day I was actually in the car listening to the new it's now a 24-hour wrestling channel on Sirius XM, and they were talking about the Saudi situation, and a caller brought up the question, what happens if the Saudis keep throwing money at WWE and basically decide they just want to keep WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia for ad infinitum? at what point does WWE stop taking the checks and be like, no, we
when
need it to
they
go
s-
somewhere else?
when they stop clearing.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, that's what it kind of boils down to. It's
yeah,
I hate to say it, but it's about making some money. And if I mean, doesn't mean that we have to like it, doesn't mean that we have to agree with it. It
yeah,
means that's just what it is. Um, cough up, have the country cough up the money and outbid them.
yeah,
The reality of it is none of us know what their deal is structured or what it looks like, right? Like, so,
right.
you know, again, don't have to like it, but my philosophy is pretty simple. Even if I don't like it, I just, don't watch it. So
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say that I'm
pretty
not gonna
much. Yeah,
watch that show, but that's just kind of where I'm at. And one of the things that led us to indies overdoing like mainstream is because I don't like the division. I don't
right.
like tribalism. I don't like you know they can't sell this venue out, or neither can, it's just who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Who
Well,
cares? Who bought the ticket? Did they leave
yeah.
happy?
Don't get me started on tribalism. I
I'm just
mean,
saying. I just stay out of it. I don't give.
I, I do too. I mean, but these people that literally will root for any wrestling company to fail just because it's not their cup of tea. Uh, I hate that because there's room enough in the wrestling business for all tastes, and there is a flavor of wrestling that will make anybody happy. But don't
Facts.
but don't root against.
Thank you.
Uh, yeah,
Thank you. I
I
don't
hate it. I hate
I
it. I
don't
hate it. I hate it.
it baffles my mind. It truly does. And I can't for the life of me understand why anybody would not want everybody to be successful, because the more,
Uh,
and even on the independent circuit, the more
yeah,
companies there are, as long as they respect the guys and they respect
yeah,
the girls and they respect everybody that comes along with it, like the whole kit and caboodle. It just makes that it means that there's more places for people to
yep,
work and make money. Like, that's
yep,
ultimately what it's about. If we're not here for them because they are the ones who are entertaining us, then why the fuck are you here? That's my
exactly. I
that's
mean,
that's my take. It's like,
more places, like you said, more places for people to work, make some money and hone their craft.
exactly. And then
Yeah,
that's why we should be here. Like, we should be here to
yep,
support them. I
absolutely.
Again, I don't have to like everything that's on AEW. I don't have to
No,
like everything that's on the WWE. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna go out of my way and shit on it either. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna go out of
exactly.
my way to make something feel less than, because that's not what this is about, guys. This is about them getting in the ring, telling a story, and entertaining us.
Yep.
That's what this is. And
Wilson Dyers in the Instagram chat. We were just talking about him and the amazing graphics that he did.
we sure were, man. I'm glad he's in chat. You guys should go and follow him. He did all the graphic work for Chapter 1 Genesis. Any and everything that you see out there. And including Matt, go ahead and throw that snazzy graphic back up since he's in chat so we can.
Absolutely.
He designed that bad boy right there that we dropped earlier in the chat, guys. So officially announcing the main event. Shout out Wilson, man. Appreciate you, bro.
And just a good dude. I mean,
Genuinely, yeah, he
yeah.
is. He is. We're trying to get him back on a wrestling trivia show. So there's a spoiler for you. That we're working on. But at the end of the day, yeah, no, I mean, I can't. I would rather not say anything bad about what anybody's doing in the ring, because the reality is this. And a lot of the people that are saying, the tribalistic stuff, as an example,
Yeah.
Let me just see you get in the ring. Why
Yep.
don't you go do that? Let me see you run the ropes 5 times and not trip and not fall on your face. Let me
Yep.
see you take a bump. Let me see you have a match. Let me see you do that. And then
Yeah.
if you can do that, maybe you can talk a little bit. But if you can't do that, which, I hate to say it, 90 to 95% probably can't,
Yep.
then we probably don't need to tear down anybody who's trying to do something that we that are watching, that are supporting cannot do.
Yep. And like you were saying earlier, social media it's a double-edged sword because it has spawned all of the keyboard warriors.
Mhm.
you know,
Well,
uh,
anybody will tell you I despise on my team. I despise social media. I hate it. I
yeah.
think it's a necessary evil. But it allows for the talent. It allows for them to get the exposure that they need.
Oh, it does.
You
It
know,
does.
it's
And like you, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is, it's an unfortunate evil because it is to some extent at least a big part of the lifeblood of what we are doing with live streaming and podcasting.
yeah. I mean, without
So
them, we don't have a platform. I don't have a
right.
platform without them. You have to keep in mind, like we're a reaction and watch along.
Yep.
So like if that's why we try to put so much love and attention on not only the companies and the talent, is without the talent, the companies don't have a show. Without the companies, we don't have shit to watch. So you come to our shows, you come on our streams, or you're watching us on Twitch, you have the company information. You have
Yep.
their YouTube, their Instagram. If there's a website that's attached, same with the talent. We have their information on full display, the entire show that they're on. I want you to go and follow them if you're not
Yep.
already. I want you to get involved. I want you to share their stuff. I want you to promote them because they're entertaining us. And
Absolutely.
it's an easy ask.
So before we wrap this up, I want to go through the match cards for AEW All Out
Oh,
and
let's do it. Come on.
WrestlePalooza and get your predictions, Chris.
Okay.
So we'll start since All Out is going to be an afternoon show since they got counter programmed, shall we say, by WWE. It's going to be from Toronto this Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And, they haven't announced match order, at least as far as I know.
Okay.
So I just sort of put these in the order that seemed logical to me.
Sure.
So starting off, we've got the Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Who you got, Chris?
Oh, this is Hurt Syndicate all day.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I definitely agree on that.
Yep. I nothing against Ricochet and company. I do think it's going to be a great match, but you know, I how can you bet against Bobby
Just
Lashley?
the physicality of Lashley and Shelton Benjamin is just going to be too much.
Facts.
So Mercedes Monet versus Riho with the TBS Championship. Personally, I don't see Mercedes dropping this belt anytime soon.
I totally wish she would. I'm gonna say
I do
Rio.
too.
I'm gonna say
Oh,
Rio. I have a
I hope you're right because I actually would like to see Mercedes lose, but Tony Khan seems to kind of have her on a pedestal of some sort. So
I know, and the harsh reality is, and I don't mean this. I'm not a hater of Mercedes Monet by any means. I think that she is one hella talented professional wrestler. There's no denying it. There's no doubt about it. I'm just not sold on this right now, and it could just be a me thing, But I think that Rio is someone who is a staple. She is a former women's champion. It would make
Yeah.
her as far as holding both belts, it would put her in that category. So I think that it could happen, and I hope that it does because not that Rio is going to like elevate over Monet, but I think you free Monet up to if you're gonna put her on this pedestal, you need to go all in on her and get her the women's championship. I that's the logical side of this equation for me. Rio is someone who is viable to knock her off and free her up to possibly get that big run over Tony Storm.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So this next match, for whatever reason, I could not find a graphic for this match that was in the same format as all the others, so I had to kind of improvise a bit. But we are having a tables and thumbtacks match between MJF and Mark Briscoe.
Oh, I think it's in Toronto. I think it would be a big win for Mark Briscoe if they're trying to elevate him and they're trying to put
Yeah,
him in the main picture. Then he wins this match. If not, then this is MJF's bounce back from his loss to Hangman. And
right,
this will be how he
right.
bounces back and comes back and bounces back as a badass and a tough guy after
Yeah,
taking that loss. So
yeah. I mean, I'm predicting MJF winning the match, but at this point, to a great extent, he's kind of bulletproof. I mean, he can take losses and it doesn't really diminish him particularly. So, yeah, like you were saying, if they are looking to elevate Mark Briscoe further, this could be a way to do it. But I'm picking MJF.
well, you got to be careful with that with MJF and taking losses. That's fine, but I think with me though, it's got to mean something. The loss to Hangman meant something. I don't think that
Yeah,
you come in and again if Mark Briscoe is next in line for a title match, then he goes over here. If he's not, MJF is definitely going to pull the win. But it's just I don't know. You just got to be careful with how you take MJF out and who you have MJF drop to is going to be important.
yeah. So next, we've got a fatal four-way for the AEW Women's Championship. Tony Storm versus Jamie Hayter versus Chris Statlander versus Tekla. And I don't see Tony Storm. The only person in this match I could see potentially coming out as the winner, other than Tony Storm, is possibly Statlander.
I don't think Tony's losing the belt here because based on my other prediction with Mercedes hopefully dropping to Rio, I think you're starting to set the ball towards Tony and Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's their money match, and I know that they just didn't they just do them not too long ago?
They did.
So like they're gonna distance it for a hot second, which I mean, again, that logic, I could definitely see Mercedes retaining at this point. But if they're building it for a longer term deal, but I definitely think Tony's gonna pull the win. And I think it's gonna be kind of convincing at the end too.
Yeah.
Oof.
Copeland and Christian versus FTR. The thing that's an interesting wrinkle to this, did you see Dax Harwood's thing on social media this afternoon?
No, I haven't paid attention to social media this afternoon.
Yeah,
What's going on?
he Dax Harwood basically said that if Adam Copeland and Christian Cage win this match, he is going to retire as an active wrestler. Which adds a different wrinkle to the match.
It does. I don't know if I believe it or not.
Yeah, I'm
But
not sure I believe it either, but I mean, it does bring a little bit of at least a touch of uncertainty to the match.
it does, but it's not going to stray me away from Copeland and Cage. I mean,
Copeland,
this is in
Cage.
Toronto.
This is
But
in Toronto.
if there was a team that were to beat them in Toronto, it would be FTR.
Right. Agreed.
So I could see FTR pulling the win and them going to, FTR country and running a rematch and having Edge and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage pull the win back. Hometown for hometown.
True.
I could see that, but
Yeah.
I would hope that they do something long term here, like longer term than just where we're at match wise, because I think you can get more out of this. So I'm going to predict FTR with heel tactics, even though they're in Toronto. Something will lead for this to continue and carry forward. I don't know what, but my head says that to be the way to go if we're gonna take it a little further.
Gotcha. So Mox and Darby Allin in a coffin match.
I hope Darby Allin.
Yeah.
I
don't know about you, but I'm kind of tired of the whole Death Riders thing. I feel like it's run its course. And it's just time to do something different with Mox.
I mean, I'm not going to say that I disagree. Like I get it. I do. But I'm not there with it anymore. I just, some of the overly violent stuff, I'm just not a big fan of. So, like I said earlier, I don't really, watch a whole lot of stuff that I'm not interested in or that doesn't, speak to me in some form or fashion. In this situation, like I hope Darby pulls the win because I feel like that the AEW's been, building him as a pillar and as a top guy. And then what better way to solidify that than, in Darby's kind of match and he takes out, former multi-time AEW heavyweight champion. I mean, that's a pretty good story.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. And then for the World Championship, Hangman Page and Kyle Fletcher.
Oh, this is Hangman all day, every day. Come on now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing that was interesting is word is going around that the match was supposed to be Hangman Page and Wardlow, but Wardlow has apparently now blown his pack. So, if it's not one thing, it's another for that guy. I mean, I just, but yeah,
He can't catch a break if that's the case.
I know.
But I think that
Now,
if Wardlow was supposed to be in the spot, man, and I mean this respectfully, but I think they dropped the ball with him years ago.
oh, absolutely.
He was as hot as they got, and they had a moment and they dropped it, in my opinion.
They did. And there have been, we won't really get into all of that, at least not tonight, but there have been several occasions over the years that I have just wondered what Tony Khan is thinking. But anyway,
We ain't going down that rabbit hole, brother.
no, no, not tonight, at least. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think Hangman definitely retains here. I think Kyle Fletcher is a future champion,
Mhm.
but but he's not ready, not yet.
I think this is his proving ground moment to prove
Yeah,
that he belongs and he can be in the conversation. I think it's this will be his match that solidifies him as that future player. I think
yeah.
he's gonna have a great match. Let's be fair,
Oh,
but it's just
it'll
you
be
know it's
it'll be one of these matches that will elevate him in a loss. You know,
yeah
he will come
sure,
out of it still looking like $1,000,000.
and he'll still have a shiny championship.
Yep.
So we're
So
all good.
moving on to WrestlePalooza, which is 7 p.m. Saturday, coming from Indianapolis, and is the start of the whole WWE ESPN partnership.
Hmm.
Um, so starting off, we've got the Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer. And I'm saying, unless something weird is going on, which I've had some questions about lately, I think Vaquer goes over. But it's, to me, the way WWE has been handling Vaquer, especially these last few weeks, it's making me wonder if they're having a crisis of confidence with her.
I can agree with that. I actually I hope that I'm going for Stephanie on this. But I could see Io Sky pulling the win as well. Like
Yeah,
it's again, it's one of those that's I think that's the beautiful thing about this match, to be fair, is that truly it's a coin flip. It could go either way creatively.
yeah,
And neither direction would be right nor wrong. I think there's more possibility with a Stephanie run because I kind of think that the women's division on Raw's gotten kind of stale. Uh,
yeah.
so I think that this is a really good spot to hit a firm reset. And if you're going to do a title change, this should start your show.
Agreed.
You started off hot with a title change. It's you're ushering in a new era on ESPN. And you're crowning you're ushering in a new era for Monday Night Raw's women's division as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go Steph.
Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Um, my prediction, Cody will win it. Drew should win it.
Drew's been in this position of always the bridesmaid, never the bride here lately, and
Yeah,
you know, I hope Cody comes out dressed like Street Fighter. This character in Street
that
Fighter.
that would be cool.
I
That
would,
that actually would be very cool.
I would love that. Um, I, I think McIntyre is stuck in this. I'm here to give good matches, but you're not gonna put the strap on me. I don't see Cody dropping it here. I see
I
what
mean, I don't either, and I feel for Drew because, like you said, he's in a very awkward position right now.
is in limbo. This kind of feels like
Yeah,
it was put together. It doesn't feel like it was there was a whole lot of thought process behind it, or there could have been, or maybe this is the start of what could be the next big title angle for Cody Rhodes. And if that's
yeah,
the case, then I'm okay with that. I mean, not that
yeah,
my opinion fucking matters. It doesn't. But I would feel better about it if it's just the beginning. Yeah, let's put Cody over. Let's let Drew get some serious heat on him after the match or something of that nature. Set it up, and now let's really go to let's go make some money because I think that that story could make some money.
Absolutely. So the Usos versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Uh, wow.
Uh,
Do you think they pulled the trigger on a Jey Uso heel turn?
no, I don't. They sells too much merchandise. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that poor Bronson Reed's probably gonna be the fall guy here. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
he will eat the pin.
it's just gonna be a matter of how or what happens, or if he does, like if they do pull the trigger on Uso and turn him heel. Okay, I wouldn't be a fan of it. I think that they put a lot into him to get him to the top, and I think they took it away from him a little too quick. But at the end of the day, like he's fucking Jey Uso, man. You see the crowd, and you see how the people react to him. They love this guy.
I mean, I do, but I also and somebody was noting this on the radio the other day that they feel like Jey Uso has actually hit his ceiling. Um,
I
I
mm,
mean, yeah, he's
it's
getting major crowd reactions still, but you know, is he really the guy?
that is good. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
I think
possibly a heel turn could actually elevate him beyond what he can get to by remaining a babyface.
yeah, I could see it. I mean, it's possible, but I don't see it happening right the second. I think they're going to play it and tease it and set it up and see what really shakes with it. Because keep in mind, this is just coming after like 2 or 3 weeks,
Yeah,
right? So like
very
it's
true.
you
Very
know
true.
it's let's I think it's one of those things that you got to wait and see. I think that it's a
Yeah,
really interesting story wrinkle because we're talking about it, and
yeah,
that's what they want. So if we're
yep,
talking about it, then they've done their job.
yep.
So it's there. It is an
Talk about it
underlying.
and slow burn it.
I do think the Usos pulled this win. I just don't know how.
Yeah,
And I think Reed does take the fall. Or I could also see
yeah.
this one being the match on the card that, kind of just brawls out and is thrown out. Um,
True.
I if there's this would be the one match that I would do that on if I had the option.
Yeah. Rollins and Lynch and Punk and Lee.
Oh, let's go, Pumpkin Lee. Let's
Yeah,
go. I
yeah.
don't see this ending well. I see AJ Lee being the one that picks up the victory
Yeah,
over Becky.
yeah.
Um, I love
But
the
they've
story.
they've got to have their feel good moment.
I love the story. Since Punk has
Oh
come
yeah,
back through the injury, through everything, I really like how the story has played. And just when I was like, I don't know how they're going to freshen this up, but they have Becky get involved and pop
yep,
Punk in the mouth, and he's like, thank God I don't hit women, but I know somebody
yeah.
who does, and it was just like,
Hmm.
here we go, and it was a
Yep,
moment,
yep.
you know.
Oh, it was. It was. My wife is essentially kind of a brand new wrestling fan,
I love it.
and AJ Lee has completely drawn Julia in. She is completely on the AJ Lee train, and I just think it's just a lot of fun watching this stuff kind of through her eyes. I mean,
It is.
it's
It's because it makes you remember back when you had that same look. You're
yep,
like, now you get it. Now you
yep,
understand. But yeah, I totally think Lee pulls the win. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next and how they layer this thing out to get Rollins and Punk to. And I would imagine SummerSlam, but I don't know how much further after that you can go. Or excuse me,
Yeah.
Survivor Series.
Well, yeah, I was wondering if they were going to try to drag it out to Mania, but I don't know if they've got enough storyline meat to do that at this point.
I mean, now that I think about it, Survivor Series is always War Games.
Yeah.
So there's a piece of that, right?
Yep.
After Survivor Series, you've got the road to the Royal Rumble. So, Punk winning the Rumble and stamping his ticket, that would work. Um, he would have to be on chase mode, like the entire role.
Yeah.
But it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
I know. Armchair quarterbacks. That's us.
And then Cena and Lesnar.
Mm.
Are we going to see Lesnar try to break his record for German suplexes?
I mean, I think. Oh man, this is tough. But I want to say Cena. I want to say
Yeah.
Cena.
Um,
I mean, they didn't do him any favors with his heel turn. It
no,
was
they
not
didn't.
good. It wasn't.
I think it'll be Cena, but I think it might be a disqualification.
I can see that too. Yeah, I mean, keep in mind this is their first big event on ESPN, and you're going to have a lot of notable things happening. So people will be talking about AJ defeating Becky. If Stephanie pulls the win and leaves with the women's championship, they will be talking about that. They're going to be talking about Cody and Drew McIntyre and how that goes. So if there's another match that could be thrown out, this one could be it too. Outside of that tag match, I can see the other tag match being tossed.
Yep. Well, Chris, my friend, this has been an absolute blast.
I appreciate it.
Man, and like I said, the stuff we've been talking about, and just everything you've got up your sleeve is just exciting, man. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of Genesis. And even though I hitched my wagon to Matthew Ennis,
Shame on
hey,
you. Shame on you.
it's all good, man. But he's got his work cut out for him with Kakoa.
Oh, he sure does, man, and it's gonna be really interesting to hear what he has to say about it too, because he doesn't have a clue what was that one was coming. I do want to say this, guys. If you're joining us here, it's been a blast. Man, I've got a couple of shows I do want to plug. If you're joining us,
Please.
or if you head over to Twitch, where we do a lot of our filming is live there. It's at CCP podcasting. Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, I've got Jake Redondo, man. He's out on the West Coast, Primal Pros heavyweight champion. Had a hell of a match with Brandon Devine not too long ago. Out of Millennium Pro. We've also got Jay Haru coming up next Friday. Lifeguard Vaden, or Izzy Vaden's coming up a week from Sunday. Chuck Mercer's a week from Sunday. Jeremiah Fresh on the 24th. Lots of interviews coming our way or coming your way. Join us for the ride. We're about our audience, and our audience is what drives us. We dig showing you our passion, and we love seeing yours and hearing about yours as well. So you may be able to turn us on to people that we don't know. And that's the beautiful thing about what we do. And you, sir,
Absolutely.
Mr. Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure to pop by and be able to just bullshit about wrestling and channels and
Like I said, there is
things that are happening.
nothing better than nerding out about this stuff with like-minded people.
Absolutely.
But as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this coming Monday, the 22nd at 7 p.m., I've got episode 155 with El Payaso Enigmatico, who he is actually just returning to the business after a number of years away. And he's doing some really unique stuff on social media. He's got some really cool vignettes out there and a lot of slow burn storytelling and lore building.
Nice.
And then next Wednesday, the 24th at 7 p.m., I've got episode 156 with a Florida based guy, the Private
I
Eye,
know
Slade
him.
Porter. Yeah, he's a
Fantastic
good
piece of
dude.
talent. Yes, he is. He's
Yeah, I'm
tremendous.
definitely looking forward to having him on the show. So, I mean, those are the next couple, but, keep an eye on my socials because all kinds of good stuff is coming. And in the meantime, until Monday, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep throwing down.